We are honored to be joined by Brittany Hale, the founder and chief executive officer of B&D Consulting Group. Brittany, great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here.
You got it. We're going to put up the website. Tell everyone what B&D Consulting Group is.
Absolutely. So B&D, as you can tell from my initials, it's not my name, but instead stands for Be Nobody's Darling. And as a happily retired attorney, I've always loved that phrase as it speaks to my legal instincts to seek truth and do the right thing. And that's exactly what we do at B&D Consulting Group, where we use values as a catalyst for better decision-making among senior leaders.
First of all, I want to clarify that Brittany is part of an ongoing series we're doing called Women in Leadership. She participated in the New Jersey Business and Industry Association Women in Leadership Conference, and our friends there recommended Brittany, and we're glad to have her with us. But one of the things that really struck me and our producers, Brittany, is that this issue of values, changing culture. You advise, you consult with senior leaders about changing their culture to make it what?
Yes. So culture is one of those trendy words that everyone says and no one really knows what it means.
Exactly.
So culture is not bring your dog to work day. It's not nap rooms. It's not kombucha on tap. Culture is developing a framework for
That's a good line. I got to remember kombucha on tap.
It's true, right?
You're right.
And culture, it's about developing a consistent framework for decision-making within your organization. And what we've found is that across both the nonprofit sector and for the for-profit sector, the one thing that we can guarantee and unify is around values. And so we focus on values as a means of developing decision-making, one, because it's equitable. Right? You can't say that one individual group has a monopoly on values like integrity or merit or honesty, but we also found that it's a means by which you can really unite your teams, right? And we're in a world where people are increasingly asking what organizations are standing for. And by developing decision-making around your values, it's a great way for organizations to stay consistent and attract top talent.
So interesting. There's so many avenues to pursue here, but one of the ones I want to go down is the whole question of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Important, critical, necessary, not a check off the box thing. It's a way of life, or it is not for an organization. But the work you do goes beyond that, does it not?
It does indeed. When I talk about DEI, most organizations like to have it as sort of a separate vertical, right? And really,
Exactly.
it's these perspectives are, they affect every aspect, right? It's going to affect your hiring, your firing, who stays, who goes, who grows, right? And so having leaders who can expand their understanding and bridge their understanding of inclusive leadership is incredibly important in an increasingly global and diverse workforce. We have the most generations in the workforce now that we ever have. So there's many aspects to creating a diverse and inclusive community within your organization.
Brittany, I want to follow up on something. There are a lot of organizations that in my other life, I do a fair amount of leadership and executive communication coaching. And in all candor, there are some organizations that I've worked with who, as I said, check off the box, their diversity, equity, inclusion box. They check it off. They have a position, they have a person. They say we have that. But real diversity, real equity, real inclusion, it's a long-term commitment. It's a way of life, or it's not. Talk about that.
Steve, I completely agree with you, right? A 1 hour training is not a silver bullet. Right? And when we have these sort of vague metaphors about, diversity is being asked to the party, right? Inclusion is being asked to dance. How do you put that into practice? What does that mean when you're trying to achieve your goals for the quarter, right? What does that mean as you're looking to build out your business initiatives? And so that's why my consultancy really focuses on developing, muscle memory, right? You're developing a muscle for inclusive leadership. You're learning to think differently. You're adding a few more perspectives to the world and in your thinking process so that I call it hacking yourself, right? Figuring out the best ways to operate when you are leading teams and when you are really leading an organization.
Brittany, what does that say behind you?
This is eat, sleep, lead, repeat.
Wow. Eat,
Eat,
sleep.
sleep, lead, repeat. I thought you would appreciate that.
I do. Real quick, can you give me 30 seconds on that?
Absolutely. So for me, it's a reminder, right? It's what I do every day. I wake up, I think constantly about what leadership means, right? What does leadership mean after we've gone through a pandemic, as we're adopting remote systems, as we're adopting hybrid work models, as we're dealing with people from all different backgrounds, different gender expressions, races, generations? How do we align people together such that we can achieve our business goals and align these business goals with human outcomes, right? Because this is what the world is now.
You got me thinking about a lot of things. And Mary Gamba, who's our executive producer of our sister series called Lessons in Leadership, I know she's thinking the same thing right now. Let's get Brittany on our Lessons in Leadership platform to talk about this. But by way of background, you grew up where?
So I was born in East Orange, and I grew up in Burlington Township, opposite sides of the state.
How did you, we're taping up north, how did you get to become, because Barack Obama was just speaking yesterday publicly, we're taping this in the late fall 2022, he was talking about civility and democracy and making a difference in the world. You were an Obama fellow, scholar, which one?
I was an Obama organizing fellow, yes, for his first presidential campaign. It's a fantastic experience.
Barack Obama, his leadership is important to all of us because?
So important to us because this was the first time that we, at the time I was in college, right, very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, idealistic at Rutgers University, but it was the first time that we realized that we had the ability to impact outcomes on a national stage.
That's right.
Right. And New Jersey, it's in a fantastic state. And I encourage people to think about that, right? As Obama organizing fellows, we traipsed up and down the state talking to people, figuring out what's important to them, what's driving them to the polls, what's driving them away. How do we create connection? And that's really sort of the genesis, right, of my fascination with values-led leadership, because it was, what do you value, right? How do we connect? You value education? So do I. You value advocacy? Me too. All right. And so these were really kind of the ties that bind.
Brittany Hale, part of our Women in Leadership series, founder and CEO of BND Consulting Group. Brittany, thank you so much. It will not be the last time you join us. Thank you.
Steve, thank you.
You got it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every person and organization has a story to be told. Not just famous people, but business leaders, public servants, doctors and nurses, educators and coaches. At PSC, your story is our business. For more information, visit princetonsc.com.
Also brought to you by Holy Name. This place is different. PSC, where your story is our business. NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan. PSC&G, committed to providing safe, reliable energy now and in the future. The Fidelco Group. Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, here when you need us most. PSEG Foundation, Johnson & Johnson, and by the Russell Berry Foundation, making a difference.